Profanity
Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town, yeah.
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Hey, welcome to the Profanity Nation podcast, where we are the voice of the professional fan. Thank you for joining us. We generally go live every Sunday night at 8:30. Tonight, we're a couple minutes late because live shows, and that happens. But as usual, I am joined here by my co-hosts. We have Money Mike over here on the right. How you doing, Mr. Money Mike?
Yo, I'm good. We got to talk about the slap around the world.
I know, that just happened. Amazing. Stat Pat, how you feeling?
Yeah, that's like one of the things that brightened up my day right now. That slap was pretty funny, though. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good, though.
Give us something to talk about for a little while, right?
Okay, maybe we can ask Marco about what
type of injuries?
If he saw the slap, by Chris Rock reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't know, we're on top of it. Okay, so the Oscars are tonight, and Chris Rock, I guess, is hosting the Oscars, and he made a pretty nice little, really, it was kind of an innocent joke about Jada saying G.I. Joe 2. Sorry, don't hit me. We're good, right? Seeing G.I. Jane 2 joke, obviously with her short hair. And then as we saw, it would appear that Will Smith took it upon himself to then walk up on stage. It kind of looked like it was a gag, and either Chris Rock wasn't too worried, and then he just hauled off and slapped or slugged Chris Rock right on stage. And then proceeded, which that could have looked fake, but what looked real was when he went back and sat down and said, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth." And he said that a few times with a pure hatred in his eyes.
Right,
that's what made it look real. Is that right, Money Mike?
Yeah, I mean, look, he definitely was defending his wife honor. So,
all right,
we go have to probably talk more about that next week to find out, how people feel about that. But it's everywhere right now.
The fallout will happen. But let's get started. As always, we always start the show with a buddy of ours, a friend of the show, and his name is Marco Nunez. Let's go ahead and bring Marco on the show. Marco, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us as always.
I'm doing well. I actually just a few minutes ago, about 15 minutes ago, I think I saw it on Instagram, the whole video thing where you guys were referring to that. I guess they cut it out. It was a slap. Now, one thing you did mention right now is that when he sat down, he kind of, he made a couple of comments with a straight face and a very serious face. But I'm going to give him a little credit on that part because he is an actor.
Right.
Right.
Well, we know what the rumor is right now, though, that apparently a vote went his direction because he won the award. So maybe he scared somebody to give him the award. Hey, Marco, and I hate for us to talk about the same thing over and over and over again. But we're going to probably do it because it was hilarious to me. I was looking at the report with Steph Curry, right? And the report said, and I quote, "Out indefinitely, should be ready by the playoffs." And I'm like, so I'm like, damn it, like, why we go through the same thing again? How do you say out indefinitely will be ready by the playoffs? Because isn't that like an oxymoron? And I know we talked about it before, but they said that that he has a sprained ligament, and this was the injury that happened when Marcus Smart went and he dove for the ball. Some called it a dirty play. I didn't call it a dirty play. I didn't think it was. And he had a strained ligament. But isn't that really like what a sprain is? Ligaments getting sprained.
Oh, correct. So when you sprain with the P, you sprain ligaments, and you strain with the T, you strain muscles. Okay. So in this case, he has a sprained ligament. Depending on the ligament that he has and the severity of the degree of the sprain, meaning in first, second, third degree. First degree is a mild sprain. Any typical ligament within a mild sprain could be anywhere between like 1 to 3 weeks. That's just a rule of thumb. Doesn't mean it applies to everybody. A third degree sprain could be anywhere from like 4 to 6 weeks up to 8 weeks possible, depending if there's a rupture, tear, anything of that sort. Now, the word indefinitely, and this is something I think the NBA started using. They used to use it a lot before, and then the NBA say, no, we can't use it indefinitely. You got to put a timeline. But I think it got people into not necessarily trouble, but there was a lot of, okay, well, you said 4 to 6 weeks. What's going on here now? Now the word it definitely kind of gives the player and the team a little leeway to kind of play around with. Hey, you know what? We don't have a timeline. We got to give him all the time he needs, but he should be ready for playoffs type of thing.
I mean,
so,
but that makes it not indefinitely. Like if you say, I mean, why wouldn't you say
It's literally
he's
the
out?
exact
Like he's
opposite.
out for the Nets, 10 games.
Hoping
Correct.
to be back to the playoffs or something along those
Right.
lines. Yeah.
Well, because this gives them there's a little gray area. In other words, basically, if Steph Curry feels really good and he wants to come in to kind of get a little conditioning or game shape, so to speak, like a game or two before the actual playoffs, instead of waiting to the actual playoffs, this gives them a little freedom to kind of play around with that versus saying, hey, you know what, he's out indefinitely or he's out for the rest of the season. We're hoping to be back at that thing, and then all of a sudden he pops back. It's like, okay, what's going on? You said he's out, now he's back in, or vice versa. Hey, he should be back by the end before the season ends, but what happens if he doesn't? So it's just a play on words, and definitely meaning we're not quite sure. We're given the freedom to come back, not come back, wait to the playoffs, or stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And let me ask you. So, I think we've been hearing rumblings about like Malik Monk. I guess it's going to take 82 games to get this guy back, and they have AD. Actually, they're talking about the timeline at the same time. But what is there a real reason or purpose where they travel with the team and they come out and do their little warm up when they know they're not playing? I got to thinking about that, like, what is it, 15, 20 minutes for the warm out? Mm-hmm. So then they go and they put the shorts on and they warm up with the team knowing that they're not going to play. Why is there a reason why somebody that's coming off of rehab, they go out there and just do the warm up knowing they're not going to play? Like, I feel like that's, in my opinion, that's just a waste of time for them to be doing that. Because they could be doing that in the gym, at practice, all these other times. Why are they just going out there taking up shots during that time? Is there a rhyme or reason from that, from a maybe coaching standpoint, or?
I mean, usually, but by the time they start kind of getting out there before the game begins and kind of start warming up the team and kind of getting some shots up, is that they're trying to kind of test their ankle, and it's part of the rehab process. And usually, what we'll do is, hey, you know what? As athletic trainers, that's not our area as far as on the court, getting shots up. So what we'll do, we'll sit down with the coach. Hey, if you're going to go out there with the player today, he's okay to go out there for 15, 20 minutes. Work on spot shooting only. He can only spot shoot for the next 20 minutes. Then we see 24 hours, see how his ankle reacts, see how his knee reacts, or anything of that sort. Okay, today you can go out there and do like a one step. He goes one step to the right, one step to the left, but it's in a controlled environment. So it is part of the rehab as far as trying to kind of return them back to play. And we'll work directly with those coaches, which is the shooting coach or the passing coaches, and they'll kind of take over and do a little bit of the rehab as far as more of the sports specific type of thing, or the return to play and a little bit of conditioning. Then we'll get feedback from the coach. Hey, you know what? How did he move while you're out there? And they'll give us a little feedback. Hey, you know what? He looked like he was smooth to the right, but to the left, you can still see he was kind of favoring it type of thing. So oftentimes that's still part of the return to play process. So it's not like, hey, just go do whatever you want to do, see what happens, and kind of come back. So if he's out there shooting before the game, it's actually a good sign. That means that he's progressing and he's moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I got that. I'm just like,
like
why at that time? You know what I mean? Like, why? They could be doing that to practice or earlier in the day.
I mean, you could.
Yeah. No. But what happens sometimes, and this is what may happen, is it may be in a back-to-back, and they can't get there. They may have no shoot-around, and there's some teams that don't have shoot-arounds anymore. And oftentimes we would do this at a shoot-around. So the team goes in the morning, they do the shoot-around from like 10 to 11, and oftentimes this player that's in rehab will stay there at the arena after the players are gone, and we'll do some of this rehab there on site. Now, in this case scenario, I don't know whether it was in a back-to-back. Maybe coach canceled shoot-around, so they didn't go to the arena. The arena wasn't available, so they have to do it right before the game. So it just depends on the situation.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I like I said, I'm just, there are things, I obviously in talking to you and seeing all these different rehab things, like, why are you out there? Like, I feel like you're gonna get hurt again.
Like slowing it down and putting them behind. I have a question for you, Marco. As these teams start to head, the NBA, of course, as they head towards playoffs and or actually head into playoffs, does the practices or the training of the medical staff, does anything change? Is it more intense, just like it is for the games and so forth, or does the hydration increase because games are more back to back? The stress levels are higher. Does anything change on your behalf, or is it just status quo?
It's pretty much status quo, but to be honest with you, as far as going into the playoffs, is actually more beneficial because you do not have any back-to-back games whatsoever in the playoffs. So you have some time to kind of have them up to recover. Sometimes there's probably 2 days maybe in between, especially if you're switching over from the two games at home, now you got to go play 2 games on the road. But the downside, of course, is you want to get home court advantage. If you start off on the road the whole entire playoffs and you're on the road, then that is kind of a little bit of a disadvantage. And you have to kind of prepare depending on the city that you're going to, whether you're going to go to Utah, which is high elevation. There's a lot of dryness. You go to Denver, that's also high elevation. There's a lot of dryness, anything of that sort. But the huge part about in the playoffs is that there are no back-to-backs whatsoever. But you also want to try to get your players to peak, so you are kind of watching you're managing their load and stuff like that as you're progressing. At the same time, once a team clinches, you kind of start resting your guys, but then even though they may not play during the games, you are doing some kind of strength and conditioning on the side to make sure they still stay in shape, ready for the playoffs. They're not gonna just not do nothing whatsoever.
Okay, I have one more question, and this one might possibly qualify as a out of bounds, but not like you're out of bounds, but just like an out of bounds. Like, really, you're asking that goddamn question? Yes, I am. Okay, so historically, we've kind of heard like boxers and such, they will restrain from having sex before a boxing match. Is that ever recommended for basketball players? And is there any science to that at all, that women make weak legs, so they say?
I guess the question just depends what woman it is.
Or a gender, yes. No, go ahead.
I'm not going to throw any names out there, but I'm going to say it probably begins with the K.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
I guess it depends on the female. You know what? It's an interesting question. I think I had ran into an article speaking about it, but I haven't read anything specific science regarding that.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I could think of as far as what as males, I don't know this. If you sustain from abstinence, you're going to build a little frustration and anger, and I guess you're just going to take it out on your opponent.
Yeah, it is good. I could definitely see that, right? Boxing, that helps. Exactly. Everything else, it kind of slows you down and frustrates you, and you're not very productive at work. Anything else for Marco, guys? We're good. All right, Marco, thank you so much. We're going to let you rewatch the Will Smith slap. And
because we want you to report on that. Like,
the injuries.
Are you able to measure, like, if it's a first degree, second degree? Do you know what type of injuries? Like, will he have a black eye tomorrow from the slap? Like,
on that part. We'll see.
We'll see. All right.
Exactly. We'll see.
So we have an injury report on Chris Rock this week.
All right. Thank you, Marco. We'll see you next week. Wait, before you go, please let everybody know how it's best to keep up with you and what you've got going on. Definitely, please.
Oh, yeah. If you guys have any questions regarding sports injuries, sports recovery, anything like that, feel free to DM me on my Instagram at Marco A. Nunez 17, or please follow me on my YouTube channel subscribe to my YouTube channel at Evolve Athletic Performance.
Thank you so much, Marco. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Take care.
Yeah. For sure.
Have a good night. All right. So that's great. Okay. Let's just jump right back into exactly what we're talking, because that is just crazy. Okay. We're going to assume that this was real and that Will Smith just straight hopped up there. Okay. Let's break this down. Number one, who do you think you are that you could do that to anybody? And
okay.
You're going to a show like that and everybody gets ripped. I mean, it's basically a roast. From what I saw, there had to be something before.
Well, I will say this. Okay, so Jada Pinkett is dealing with alopecia. So that's the disease where you lose all of your hair. And she's been wearing her hair in that manner to gain awareness for that disease. And so if she's dealing with that, hey,
Daniel Artest, how are you? We love you.
We love you, DA. That being the case, he just probably got tired of the jokes. I mean, at this point in time, everybody calls Will Smith a simp because of the whole August thing, with Jada, her entanglement that she had before. And so this is his one time. And yeah, it's a bad setting. Everything, especially on the night that he wins an Oscar, is going to get clouded with that image rather than him giving his great successful speech. But at this time, man, he was playing with street rules, and Chris Rock knew that he was picking on Jada instead of making it a lighthearted joke. So that's how I looked at it. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have slapped him, but he got slapped. We just got to deal with it now at this
Money.
point.
Yo, I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, a whole lot of women gonna love Will Smith for defending, his wife's honor. So at the end of the day, based on what same thing what Pat said is like, that there was a possibility for the joke. You probably should let it go, but there's going to be about another 100,000 more women that's going to want Will Smith because he defended his wife. So, and hey, congratulations to him. I'm not going to talk about him. Ain't nobody else going to talk about Jada.
Well, at the same time, now you have what people are saying, on the Twitterverse, that him doing that is going to open the door for other people that feel that they can go on a stage and smack comedians if they're saying something bad.
Well, no, that's not just comedians, but if he can do it, why can't I smack you for saying something bad? Obviously, we all know that's not it. So we can go. It's not what we're trying to show our kids.
So the question is, does Chris Rock press charges for assault?
No.
Yeah, no. I mean, he can't. I mean, but everyone, it was funny because if you go on Twitter, everyone wants Will Smith to be like escorted out of there. It was assault. He should be arrested and all this other stuff like that. And it's kind of, it's kind of call.
Daniel says fallout from this might be minimal. A lot of people on social media supporting the slap heard around the world. Laughing like,
right.
Like you said. So you see,
he just got way more
chivalry that they'd call it. I guess.
Yeah, he got way more sexy,
bro.
A whole lot. You know what I mean? But you know what though? He may be putting it hard on us regular people. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Now that we bring it up, this isn't the first time he slapped someone either. There was a comedian that tried to kiss him at a movie premiere in Europe or somewhere, and he slapped him. Do you remember that?
Yes, I did remember.
And that's self-defense.
He's a slapper.
And that's self-defense.
He's a slapper. Hey, I didn't know Will Smith was a slapper.
Open hand, nice form.
Wow, that was definitely shocking, but we'll see what the fallout is. Thank you, Daniel, for commenting on it.
Won't be any.
We'll see what it is. Well, there'll be some fallout. Not necessarily he's going to jail, but there'll be some fallout. We'll see. But let's get to what matters here, guys. And what matters.
I got one question.
I
got one question because I'm kidnapping your segment right now.
Go ahead.
How close are we to the 11th seed? I'm just asking the question.
Bruh.
I'm just asking the question.
One game.
I'm just asking. How many games we got left? Hey, Fredo, where you at?
Where you at?
Where you at? All I'm saying, look.
Recap the bet.
Okay, so hey, everybody know. First of all, I hate that I had to make this bet, but Money Mike is a real one, right? So the bet is that I said that I bet Fredo that the Lakers would not be in the play-in game.
They wouldn't even make it.
They would not make it to the play-in game, and it's $100 bet. Now I want to be wrong. I want to pay the $100 off. You know what I mean? I want to. I want to be wrong. I want to give us an opportunity.
You're hoping you'll pay the 100 to be wrong.
But I'm telling people, and all this love for LeBron for no reason, how do you lose a 23-point game?
Pelicans.
We play the Pelicans, who are under us, or actually, my bad, they're above us now. And we're up by 23, and we lose the game. How does the GOAT
allow that to happen?
Tell me the second GOAT, let's say Jordan. Does Jordan allow that to happen? Kobe. People don't even want to call Kobe the GOAT. Does Kobe allow that to happen? In what superstar? I mean, we can name a whole lot of people. Does Isaiah Thomas allow that to happen? Does Bill Russell allow that to happen? Does Kareem allow that to happen? Does Magic allow that to happen?
There's definitely games they've all allowed it to happen.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm sure you can find a game that the Lakers in Showtime era were up 23. The question is, do they allow it to happen in such a time when we need those games?
No,
that's the question.
Wait, hold on, Pat. I want to push back on you that.
Okay.
Pat, is this true or not? When the Lakers and Showtime era, they only wanted to play 3 quarters.
Right. They were blowout teams.
Right, yeah. And then in the fourth quarter, if they didn't take the lead and then Magic had to take his ice pack off, look, they were hearing it.
Yeah. And one thing about so this has probably been following LeBron his whole career when it comes to him being a closer, but only in his own way. And what I say by that is because in the classic sense of a closer, what you were talking about, Money, about Jordan, about Kobe, about these guys, where it's like, okay, we're down by 10, or not even that. We're seeing this 23-point lead slip away, and now we ran the offense, and we're not getting results, and we're only up by 6. Now I have to take over the game. I have to do that. And all of the ones you were saying before have been that player where they take on over the game by getting buckets, not by getting the guys open and creating for others. Like, that's something that I understand that he's great at. I understand that he's probably one of the best at doing that. But what happens is when we need buckets, I need you to get buckets. That's what you're here for. You're the man. You're not supposed to pass it out there and hopefully Malik Monk bail you out. And so that's where we're at right now. We got Daniel right now.
Look, you got people coming your way. Look, go ahead and read that one. Go ahead and read it, Mike.
Hey, I love this. He said, y'all might be done. This season is crazy, and part of me wants to blame LeBron. Hey, first of all of me wants to blame LeBron.
Here we go. I'll finish it. Love his game, but honestly, I think he should have had some uncomfortable conversations with players.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be losing and laughing and joking. I agree. They're not showing much spirit there. One thing about Kobe I appreciated was seeing is he was having none of that, no matter who it was. Absolutely. I remember specifically Kobe going on Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel,
oh my God,
showing him clips of Swaggy P and Nick Young, and they're all laughing, and
he's just looking like, oh
what
my God.
Yeah.
And he said if he was there, that wouldn't be under his watch.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Now, Daniel, you say you're hoping that they're going to make the play-in. Why? I mean, we don't win back-to-back games, so we know that they're not going there. If they win that first one, they're going to lose the second one anyway.
Yeah.
So, do you really think that that they'll be able to make the playoffs and let's just say make an impact? That's my question, Daniel. If you can answer that.
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about making an impact. The impact is no less than the conference championships. And that's where we have to think that's where it still needs to be. I don't care if they're the 10th seed. I don't care. Your goal still is to make the conference championships. I don't care. You put yourself in that position, the expectations doesn't go away. So you want to call yourself a championship contender? All right, it's time to show and prove. Now, like you said, Money, and we talked about this last week, they haven't won 2 games in a row against good teams in so long. And if you look at that schedule,
against any team,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And now we're thinking about, you look at the gauntlet that they have the last 8 games against playoff caliber teams. Are we going to win half of those games? I don't even know.
All right, I've got a question then for you, Stat Pat. How do you feel about Money Mike's bet with Fredo?
Is he looking really good right
now? His percentage just went up. Like when you're watching poker really and they put down the river card, you're like, oh, the percentage just changed.
Yeah, right. All of a sudden, your pair of sevens look all good right now.
All of a sudden now it's 90%. So you're saying you actually like the bet now on Money Mike's better, that's for sure.
I hate to like it.
Oh no, but that's okay.
But I see what I see, and unfortunately, these guys are not trying to. I mean, we're talking about LeBron. Do we have another closer? Do we have anybody that can help him? That and I know we've saying this before, but it's like we need other people that make shots, close the game. But LeBron, it got to start with LeBron, and at this point in time, are we going to give him a pass for this season? I know everyone wants to say that he's wasting an MVP type of season, but he still needs
MVP though.
He still needs to have some kind of his like. So I would say this: now, of course, Kobe Bryant made the playoffs when he got robbed from Steve Nash, but if Kobe Bryant, I mean, if Nash was putting up these kind of stats that LeBron would be, I'm like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. And I'm saying that if you are leading the league in scoring like Kobe was, and like you always going to be in the conversation, Kobe didn't win it.
Look,
You know, that's what I'm saying.
well, look, first of all, I don't have a problem with them being in the conversation. But then if you are the most valuable player, which tells me that you are the player that makes a difference between wins and losses. That's my only thing.
Period.
Right. So if you are not making the difference between wins and losses, then you're not, to me, an MVP.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
I don't care if you score 50 points a game, like, but you're not winning. But we're losing by 20. Like, these are not close games.
No.
You know, so you can score 35, we lose by 20, you're the first one in the tunnel. No, there's no way you're on MVP. But anyway, let's see what Daniel said. Daniel said he just wants to make it there. Okay, well, you know, Daniel, I need from it.
And he said, you know, they have no draft picks this year, so if they miss the playoffs, they lose their draft pick anyways. So there's no reason to miss the playoffs. So I agree with you there.
Well, and the draft pick issue is because of LeBron, because we traded everybody
for Westbrook. Exactly. All right, guys, let's keep the show moving here. I would like to touch on a subject that I think we're all really happy about. Vanessa Bryant. So the Bryant estate and Nike have reached a deal. They are going to continue to produce the Kobe shoes through Nike, and not only that, but they're going to produce the Mambacita shoes, and those are all going to go to charity, the Mamba Foundation and the Mambacita Foundation. So Vanessa did a wonderful job. I have a feeling she probably had to fight very hard to get Nike to do and to take those terms, but she did a great job. And because she fought so hard, all of us will get the benefit of seeing those shoes. And if we want, we can help the Mamba and Mambacita Foundation.
Let me just say that. You said it right. All of us will get the benefit of seeing the shoes. Cause we ain't gonna be able to get none. You guys already know
that sneakers app.
Yeah, you already know those sneakerheads, and they only gonna have 5 pair in every size, and it's gonna be gone. Cause I know I was trying to get a Mambacita sweatsuit that was overpriced, and those were gone. I'm like, my only thing about, first of all, I think it really is an amazing, thing that they did work something out. I really was upset with Nike. And I thought it was really, honestly, really uncharacteristic of how they kind of treated the whole situation, because usually Nike has historically been back behind, players, and they were back behind, Kobe when he was going through his issues and stuff, So I just didn't understand what the rhyme or reason was for Nike to kind of release a shoe that they knew they wasn't supposed to be released. But I'm happy that it was a lot of groveling probably. And Vanessa took, accepted their apology, 100% of the proceeds of Gigi shoe.
Net proceeds.
Keep it right. Make sure we understand. The Gigi shoes, You guys have to watch really what's been said. Like, Gigi shoe, 100% of Gigi shoe is going to the Mambacita Academy. They didn't say nothing about the Kobe shoe.
That's coming home.
Right. Yes. Kobe shoe is
coming home.
It's a business. They got to make money.
So we understand that. But no, I think it's a really amazing thing that Mambacita Academy is definitely doing a lot of good things out in the community. So, yeah, I'm happy to be able to see the shoe. It's coming out May 22nd, which is Gigi's birthday. And I think it's so appropriate. And I actually like the shoe. It's going to be retailed at $189. And on the black market, it's probably going to be $1,000
on Craigslist, eBay, and the other Grailed, and you name it.
Right.
I do like my sneakers, as you guys know, but there's a lot of places you can get in line and get your sneakers. There's one place, if I'm right, and I'm just going to give them a shout out. I believe they're called Culture Kings. There's a few stores worldwide. They will only sell you those shoes. They make you wear them out.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, you have to wear them out. That's the only way they'll sell them. So you get in line, you can buy a pair, you got to put them on, and you got to wear them out. So that's the only way they'll sell you shoes of that caliber.
Really?
Do you like that rule, Money Mike?
That's really interesting.
You have to wear them out.
That's really interesting, because if you don't want any creases, and then they all of a sudden become used. So now I can imagine everybody's walking out, really
Careful.
careful,
Man.
You know, but what that means is that they're saving the shoes for people who are hopefully wearing the shoes. Do you like that?
Because no, you know why? Because I'm scared
to wear those,
to wear them out. Because like at least when you're at home, you know your terrain. You know, like it rained last night. I'm not wearing these shoes out. Like I know if I go somewhere, there's gonna be puddles. Like you know what I'm saying. Like,
and you're not walking in.
But what if it's like what if it's raining today?
It's the rule.
Okay.
Then you walk out and you take them off as quick as you can.
I mean, you're not
put on your rain boots.
You don't have enough time. The rain is coming down.
Well, especially like some of the suede versions.
Nah.
See,
I don't like that.
But you know, I don't mind it because at least you know the actual users of the shoe, the wearers, you get to wear them. But I do like to choose when I'll wear them, and that might be for a special occasion. But at least it keeps the shoe there.
Summertime store,
and it keeps it for people there. All right, guys. So we've hit a little bit on the Lakers. Of course, the NBA season's starting to wind down. The Lakers are not necessarily catching fire. They cannot put together 2 good games, yet alone 2 good quarters, yet alone 2 good minutes. We're still talking about whether or not they'll even make it to the playoffs or the play-in game, and that is actually in question. Which, when we had Trevor Lane on the show a couple of weeks back, he couldn't even fathom that would possibly happen with where the team was. And now that very well could happen.
Yeah, it's a reality.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a reality. So that definitely could happen. So that is what it is. You know, the other teams are still kind of jockeying for position, but the NBA is just kind of winding down. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens. And of course, we'll keep that up to date with you guys there. But we're also we like to review, and we've been watching a show, and I know, Stat, that you didn't get a chance to watch this episode. That's okay. We won't do any big major spoilers for anybody, but
earmuffs.
We're gonna go. Yes, earmuffs. We're gonna go ahead and talk about episode 4, I believe, correct? Of Winning Time, and that's of course the HBO special about the Showtime Lakers: Jerry Buss, Jerry West, Magic Johnson, Norm Nixon, you name it. And that show is actually based on a book that one of our previous guests, Jeff Perlman, wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And we are looking to have him back on the show so we can talk to him about that soon, and we'll let you know. But let's go ahead and get to it, guys. Right off the bat, for the show in general, as soon as it was released, a lot of people who were in the know seemed to feel that it was a mischaracterization of Jerry West. Nobody seems to be saying anything about Buss.
I mean,
and he's basically a womanizing slob out there. So no one's saying anything, but they did say about West. The West storyline seems to be slowing down a little bit, and they're getting more into their first coach in this one, or at least during training camp money.
Yeah, you know, look, I thought I knew everything about or had some evidence of everything. I never knew that he went after Tarkanian. You know, to
Coach.
Which actually I think would have actually, if he would have got Tarkanian, it would have been a really interesting dynamic, you know, with them, you know, because you know Tarkanian from, you know, the Running Rebels and what they did out there, and he was legendary. And I knew the history of Tarkanian, you know, but I just let's just
The
talk
colorful
about that.
history.
Yeah, like let's talk about that a little bit. Like,
Go ahead.
do we think that they would have been able to win their championship, you know, like they did in Magic rookie season if they would have got Tarkanian?
Having Jerry Tarkanian was actually that guy where he does have the offense. Now, I don't know about his defense though. That's the thing about. I mean, I know about the Running Rebels, and the Running Rebels used to run up and down the court, and especially when they had Stacey Augmon and Anderson Hunt and Greg Anthony and Larry Johnson. They were just athletically better than everybody they played. So their defense was based upon their athleticism. They played a lot of the they played a good matchup zone. Sometimes they switch on demand. So they were really good. Would that have worked in especially Jerry Tarkanian being who he was and his personality, and how would that mesh with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? I mean, that's what everyone's basically saying. Everyone's tiptoeing around Cap. You know, everyone wants to make sure they're in good with Cap. And so does his personality, which we know was brash, would that have worked with Kareem? I don't know if it would have. Now, Magic would have flourished because that's his style. He would have flourished. However, is he going to get all of the team on board? I don't know if he would have done that.
Well, and that's what's interesting about this new episode. Sorry, guys, spoiler alert. And Clubhouse, if you want to comment, go ahead and blink your mic. That's what was interesting because when McKenna came in, and he was like, "Yo, we about to go up here and run." Kareem was, they had him running down the field, and Kareem was just like stopped. It was like, "I'm not running anymore."
He's done. Yeah, he was.
And, and then they were playing their game, and he was just on the side. He was just sitting on the bench like, I'm good. I'm not running, anymore. So he still, you kind of see a little bit of that pushback in this series this episode because he, it sounded like he never really liked that run and gun mentality that they had.
I mean, if you think about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and where he come from the school of John Wooden. He's classic. He won a championship with a dynamic point guard, and he being a big man when he was with Milwaukee. So with the Big O. So, that's how he wants to play. That's at that time. That's how he wanted to play because that's what he knows. He's good at it. He has an MVP season. Before all this happened. So, but one thing I also going back to what you were saying. Simpson was basically about how some people were having some pushback on this show. And I always maintained that I believe there's some hint of truth to all of the stories. Mm-hmm. Like, I know people are looking at what they've perceived before and what they were fed back in, because remember, how are we getting the information about Magic or about Kareem in the 80s? We're getting it through magazines, we're getting it through newspapers,
filtered sources.
We're getting it filtered. We don't know any of this. Yeah. Basically, they're shielding these players for not giving you the ugly truth because we don't really know that Magic was out there until the HIV happened. It was 10 years he was doing this. We didn't know he was out there until after he had the physical evidence. It's like, yo, bro, they're out there. You know what I'm saying? But so all that, like Captain, like, Kareem not playing, not wanting to play, there probably was some truth to that.
I believe that.
I don't think he was as amicable when it comes to playing the game. I think he was kind of abrasive. I think they had to work around him. They're not just saying that just because, we just want to put their people's names in the dirt. No, it's literally probably, Kareem was not that guy. So I don't know. I just feel like sometimes I really believe that when it comes to the Lakers, everything was. I mean, we got results, but there's a lot of that stuff was true. I mean, we could talk about how much is it true or not, but I'm not going to be on the saying that Jerry West wasn't neurotic or Kareem wasn't an asshole. I mean, I'm going to go that far.
But here, listen, it was women around for sure because Jerry Buss was the one that was bringing them. So I mean, he hung out, with Hugh and he always had women all around, like and what he was. Man, wow! I mean, it's kind of wild on what Jerry was doing, and it seemed like it was a well-known fact that's just who he was. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be a surprise for that to go on to the players. I mean, look, we know that James Worthy. Remember when he got caught, and with a whole lot of.
James Worthy got caught.
Yeah, he got caught.
If y'all don't know what happened to James Worthy, y'all go ahead and just look that up because I don't want to go ahead and put his name out there. But he got caught with some some prostitutes.
Yeah.
I guess you just did that, didn't you?
Just got caught with prostitutes.
That's okay. We'll just say that.
Hey, man, I'm even.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. That to me doesn't even make any sense. Like, why am I paying for that
when you can pretty much
when we have people auditioning?
Yeah, you know what? Because you don't want any hassle and you don't want to even play the game. You just want to go to it and get it done. I guess.
Well, you know what?
Not that I know. I swear.
But you know what? But see, I guess back in the day, like right now, you already know it's still kind of going on. It's rampant, but they're pretty smart now. There's NDAs that they have to sign.
Electric on your phone, as a matter of fact, if I recall correctly.
Right.
Overall, guys, I'm actually enjoying the series. What do you guys think? You're looking forward to the next episode each time?
Yeah. I want to see what's happening. I have to admit, like the third episode was a little slow, for me, but But this one, yeah, it definitely ramped it up. It tells you foundationally about the idea of Showtime, and they were kind of all putting that together. Man, I didn't realize like the what I was thinking about like is rich people broke is different than my broke. I'm watching this, and they're talking about this guy's about to go bankrupt. Oh, he's gonna lose everything. But they got some real nice cars,
and they're still eating good at the pool.
They're eating really good at the pool. Yes. They got the beautiful women. Like they're living a life like I want to be rich broke.
Instead of broke.
Instead of broke. Right. You know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah, because if I call you up saying, man, I ain't got it, I really ain't got it.
It's so true.
They are sitting up there like, no, we're not gonna talk about how I'm about to lose how I don't have any money. And
we're just gonna keep spending.
You're right. And they're in luxury though. They're going to these high-end restaurants, and the whole narrative is we're broke. Like, where's that money that they're paying? That's my definition of broke is different than their definition.
Yeah, and that's why Jerry Buss right now is the star of this show. Because honestly, my man has literally willed this team into success. It was literally his I'm not taking no for an answer attitude with the energetic, Magic Johnson coming in to help with that, to get them where we know who they are today. I mean, and it's just like when you see about Jerry Buss and you see him, all the things that he did behind the scenes, he was trying to make moves. And as you tell, it goes back to, remember, back in the day when we were talking about the filter news about Jerry Buss and how he was a playboy. But at the same time, we also know that he was a big-time poker player.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Big-time poker player, you know what I'm saying? And when we talk about if you have that in the back of your mind, you see him, he uses his life as a big-time poker game, and he's playing to win. At the same time, he can lose it at all moments.
And he definitely went all in.
Yes, and that's cool. Right. And that's really cool to see how he didn't have it all together in the beginning. It wasn't like he bought the team, I'm going to put my imprint, my, attitude or personality upon it, and then we're just going to see results. He was, going, flying by the seat of his pants.
You know what?
He was winging it the whole way.
Guys, we've done many episodes, and we've hosted many guests. Isn't that a common thread that we continue to see, whether it was Jason of Beverly Hills, Jeff, that they just went for it? They didn't, just like Buss. He didn't know exactly how he was going to, he didn't care. He saw the vision, he got the chance, and he just, I'm going. Right, buddy?
Absolutely. Like, Jason Beverly Hills, especially Jeff Hamilton, who I think we're going to have in a couple of weeks real soon. They all said that they just, when they did that, and then now they're very, very successful in what they do. And then, and I want to adapt that mentality, but it's really scary because if it don't work, you like have like, man,
you can't go with that.
It's like I can't.
That's not the. You know what I saw? Yeah. I saw a brief interview with Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy said this was a long time ago, and he stated that he sees parents tell their kids that they need a backup plan, they need a plan B, and he said all you're doing is giving them the process to fail. He's like, they don't need a plan B. They'll figure out a plan B when plan A fails. Go for it. Let them go. Let them put all their money in it. Let them put all their assets there. That's generally what he said. So other people feel a little different. Who knows? But yeah,
Yeah, listen, I would love to. I would 100% love to. It sounds great. I love Showtime. I love what he created. I love the vision behind that. It's just scary. Yeah. But you know what though? You that's what you got to do. You have to believe in it before somebody else does it. So, it's inspirational at the same time.
It is, and then but when you're playing with the stakes that we're playing with, the common man,
Right.
it's kind of hard to look at look at your wife in the face and be like, hey, I lost it all. Like I went for my dream and I lost it all. And so that's what's scary about for me, about just taking those risks, but when you see other people do it, it's like more power to them, man. I'm happy that they go ahead and do it, especially for us and our benefit for the Lakers.
Gotta do it.
Oh yeah, man. Listen,
happy with that. I'm
Showtime, man. What it was and how they did it, and they literally brought the lifestyle of Jerry Buss into the forum.
Yeah.
And everybody who wants to have that lifestyle that they have, like beautiful women,
but the agent that got that to happen and the person was really Jeannie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeannie actually forced her father's plan into that, and that was really neat to see.
Well, and that's what was really interesting about it, because like she was there, and I don't think that she really, how do I say it? I think that when she was looking at that, she's an intern and she's looking at these ideas, and I think she didn't know what would work, but she knew what would not work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, and you kind of see in the episode where they come up with something and she go, and they'll ask a little intern, what do you think? I'm like, nah, I think my dad will want more than that. You know what I mean? And then, just in conversation, they were like, well, what about if we do this? And they're like, okay, yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That I think my dad would like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a really good thing to kind of have too, because it's almost like you got a cheat sheet into
your boss,
your boss, right?
Absolutely,
Be a genie, because they were like, yeah, I think my dad would like that,
right?
You know what I mean? So it definitely, and you could see that she was learning the business part of what she was creating or projecting. We know what her dad want, like how they can monetize it, how they could be a full blown entertainment facility where for 2.5 hours everybody could forget. Like they created a different fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was done tastefully, believe it or not.
Yeah,
for the most part,
right on the border.
Yeah,
right on the
right
border.
there. And just being just enough, to be provocative enough to, sell tickets, but like you said, keep it respectable. Don't have them all in skimpy between, but have a little bit of imagination. Wear a little mini skirts, that kind of thing. One thing that I always looking at that I didn't watch the fourth one, but I will watch that. That will be my homework assignment when I get home tonight. But just looking at just the first 3 episodes, and you see how Jeannie Buss has been there for, like you were saying before, from the beginning, and it should now come at no surprise why Jerry Buss chose her to be the one.
Yeah.
So before, when anybody was saying, it's not just because she's daddy's little girl. She paid the dues. She grinded. She was an intern.
She didn't expect anything
at all.
At least based on this series, she looks pretty good.
And she was not getting.
She's coming across pretty well.
Yeah, and she was not getting any kind of like handouts because she was no nepotism. You know what I'm saying? And then so that goes also to my other point, where the hell is Jim at?
I mean, they show him as kids.
They're gonna show them in this one, because I don't.
They show them as kids, but we'll see.
I'm just saying where's the boy at? Like, when did he come into play?
That's a good point.
And how in the hell did he comes in and feel entitled enough to be like he is the man? Well, you see nowhere. And if he wasn't young enough, old enough, okay, cool. But at the same time, he know Big Sis for putting in the work. So that's where all he should know. He should have fell back long time ago. But that's why she was able to make that move and feel secure in that move, because she knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew he did not.
Do you guys think, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has been portrayed as elusive, aloof, very non-communicative, doesn't communicate much, even with his teammates, expects much, they pretty much bow down to him. Do you think that there's ever been or ever will be another player that will be treated that way?
In what sense? Like,
I mean, look at LeBron now. Will anyone ever treat someone with the respect like this series is showing Kareem Abdul was treated? He was basically treated like a god by the players, his team,
but you know what though, like,
and the coaches.
Well, first of all, no, you're not going to treat LeBron like that because I don't think even LeBron really kind of deserves that type of respect. And I'm not really, and I'm not really trying to throw shade on LeBron in that statement. So let me explain. One thing that we know about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, especially when he merged into the Muslim faith, he was very, very disciplined in everything that he did. And he didn't move or sway left or right to anybody's beat other than his. So he did what he wanted to do. So, and he was consistent in doing that. So when you have somebody that is consistently one way, then it's easier for you to give them that certain type of respect because you know where he's coming from. All the time. Like he, you know, it was funny because of the orange juice thing, Magic being a rookie and he would look at it and just turn him away, and Magic like just try it, dog. Like, I mean, I'm working hard, I'm trying. But see, the key to that is, listen, I'm doing what I've been told to try to earn your respect. Right. And I just need a little bit, if I could just get a little affirmation that I'm doing the right thing, then I will continue to do whatever it takes to get your respect. Right. But so that's how he walked and navigated himself. So, and I think even to now, like he, everybody, I have my opinions on him. He's very, you know what you're gonna get with Kareem. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
So he never swayed, even like right now. He explains, listen, I don't give autographs because I don't want people to sell, to be able to sell and make money off of my autographs. That's why he doesn't do it. Right. So but in the time I did get his autograph, he got paid to get me giving it because he doesn't think it's right for me to go on the street. So we understand him. Like we just have to understand his perspective. He's very disciplined. Other people don't have those same type of guidelines and feelings about certain things. LeBron is kind of all over the place, like, and he's not consistent. So if everything is great, then oh my God, I love it. But if he has an idea, he creates something and it doesn't work, then I feel, in my opinion, that he kind of tends to blame everybody else. Like you saw that a couple of games ago. Oh my God, LeBron's yelling at his players. He was the closest one to the ball, right? So he said, get the rebound, dog. You didn't box out. You were the one that was closest to it. Why are you looking at people behind you on why they didn't get the rebound when you were the one closest to it and you didn't box out? Like that to me, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So no, I can't respect this dude because he's blaming other people for something that he could have been doing.
Stat. Why was he treated with so much respect at that time?
And I'm glad you asked me that question because I mean, Money was making great points about just him almost outside of basketball. Now let's look at Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the basketball player. And at that point, you said like revere like a god. And if you think about it, didn't he win like 3 straight NCAA championships? I think he was undefeated in like 2 of those seasons. He in the first 2 years of his NBA career, he wins a championship. He was rookie of the year. Like my man is like destroying the league. He just doesn't have championships to back it up because you don't get all those points because you just start winning that, scoring that in the 80s. You were scoring that points like that. Yeah. You were killing it before it. So everybody that's talking to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at that point is looking at this man as probably being the greatest basketball player who ever lived at that point. Because he's bigger than Dr. Dre. He's bigger than Irving. He's bigger than all these stars that was at the same time that he was playing when he was pretty much in his prime. So when you step into now this guy, you see all these accolades, and he's at the pinnacle. Yes, you're going to have to find a way, especially when he's so reserved. There's no one else is going to gain that much respect from anybody going in, because first of all, no one's going to move like Kareem. And then let's think about, like, you were talking about money. You were talking about Kobe. I'm wanting to see how the media going to take the next Kobe. The brass. We all talk is all cute.
Anything to win.
Yeah, we do. It's all cute. We're talking about Mamba mentality, but what about when you see that Mamba mentality manifest itself on the court when he's ready to go, and it will happen. Mm-hmm. And he will have a clone or some kind of disciple of that's like, I'm going to win at all costs. If I got to hurt some feelings to do so, and he's not going to be like Jimmy Butler that has that attitude, but not the game to match. He's going to have that match and that attitude. How are the media going to handle that? Because it's going to be abrasive and it's not going to be fun to watch. And in this day and age, we got
fun to watch.
yeah, but there's a lot of snowflakes out there.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it when they like when he was in the playoffs and they asked him like, aren't you happy? You
just won. You're up 2-0.
Yeah. It was like,
it ain't done.
Like, dude, like we haven't done nothing yet.
Nope.
The job is not done, and I'm gonna celebrate when the job is done.
Yep.
And that's a whole nother mentality that you have to have for, and to me, that actually is the definition of complete success. You know what I mean? Like you could celebrate along the way, but I want more. And I want more and more and more. Right. And I'm throwing shade. I'm not going to try to get my best friends, on a team to do that. I'm gonna take what I have,
gives you the best
and I'm
to
going to get the best out of what I have, out of every person. Versus let me just try to get somebody that I think it would work in the system.
Perfect. Well, as we're talking about what Money Mike is thinking, we're going to go ahead and lead that to a segment that we call Money Mike's Out of Bounds. Money Mike is going to go ahead and share. Yeah. Okay.
I'm scared.
I think you're going to do okay, but let's see. Money Mike's going to share his thoughts or opinions on a topic, and he just wants to know, is he in bounds or out of bounds? Money Mike, you've got the mic.
All right. I'm scared, man. I don't want to get canceled, so I want to make sure I say it the correct way.
Oh man.
So we know we've been watching the media, and we've been watching this swimmer that has been breaking all the NCAA. She has been breaking all the NCAA records. But we know, no shade against anybody's community. But she was born a he, and was a swimmer and was ranked number 400 in the country. And now he has made a transition, and now we're ranked number 1 in the country as a woman. This concerns me because I feel that this is my opinion, that she should not be allowed to swim in a women's competition. And I know if my daughter was a swimmer and was going up against this particular person, I would not allow my daughter to compete, simply because I feel like it's unfair. I don't have a problem with the decision, the lifestyle. I don't have a problem with any of that, but I feel like it's just very unfair for what's happening, for someone to convert over to a woman's sport and have the opportunity to break all the records that's happening. So am I out of bounds to say, you know what, I wouldn't want? I think they shouldn't be trying to compete against this person over here, simply because I just think it's an unfair advantage.
All right, what we're going to do, we're going to think about that really quick. I myself, because this is a sensitive topic, I actually think you're in bounds. Like you said, it has nothing to do with the lifestyle or the choice. What it has to do with is just a fair game. And They're just, regardless of what anybody would like to say or believe, there just are differences genetically between males and females, and that's shown nowhere better than really sports. Just about everything else, everything could be right on the same. But when you're talking about, well, who's going to put up more weight, generally you're going to talk about a man. Who's going to run a little quicker, generally it just is. It's not a good or a bad, it just is. And when you're blurring the lines like this, it just really is unfair. And how does this differ than using some kind of enhancing drug? The unfair nature for other female athletes, they cannot, no matter what they do, create the same thing that person who was genetically born a man just naturally has. And that makes it unfair. That's what sports about, is fair, and may the best athlete win. In this case, it doesn't seem fair, so I say are inbounds. Let's go ahead to Stat Pat here and see what he says.
Yeah, I would say inbounds money. I do have daughters as well, so I do feel what you're talking about when it comes to just competing in sport. But I'm not really. I'm more concerned of how the rules are followed by this group of people and not followed for others. I say what I mean by that. There's a runner. I think I forgot her name. It escapes me. I'm sorry. But it's a runner from South Africa that was born a woman, but she has high levels of testosterone. She's born a woman, like straight up. There's nothing about it physically. She's a woman. She just have higher levels of testosterone than other women. They want her to take drugs to regulate that, to bring that basically down, so then she can compete with other women. So if that is the case for that, which is a woman that's born a woman, then she has to take drugs to actually compete. Then what are we doing here, and what is the rationale by allowing someone to compete that is not born a woman, that is now identifying as a woman, which is great, but then competing? So my point is, I can't condone one if I can't get the other.
Exactly.
And that's where I'm at with it. Hey, look, I wish, look, be honest with you, I wish transgender women go in the WNBA. And I really want to see what it looks like. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see if somebody getting dunked on. I want to see what people are going to talk about. Because then it's good. It's because it's swimming. And it's not really hitting the masses like it should be. If it was a basketball, it was something like that, a professional sport that, or you're in the soccer and you're doing more, then I need to see that. And I need that to be out there so everybody can make it and more informed, not with your heart, but use your mind and look at it and understand that there's some other women that have been training their whole life to get to that moment, to have someone come in and steal it. And it's like I said, this is no shade. I know this is a sensitive topic, and I just want to be honest. I do not have any malice when I say that. I just want you to know that if my daughters is competing, and they're competing with somebody that's an unfair advantage, it's what can I do about that? Yeah, I have to protect my daughter.
It's an unfair advantage. It's not anything else. It's just an unfair advantage. And like you said, you're talking about the runner, the female. So then I guess. And testosterone levels, right? I mean, is that what we're getting to here? If you have a testosterone level over, it's not weight classes, it's testosterone levels. It's like, what are we getting to here? Come on, keep it fair. My son was in travel basketball for years. And when he was in 11U, you'd go to tournaments and you'd see kids, they're 14. They're 14 or older. I mean, they basically have facial hair. They're not supposed to be in 11U. I would ask those parents and those coaches, because you know who you are. What is the joy in bringing a team that is superior based on simply age or some sort of genetic feature, and then beating the pulp out of younger or genetically not as mature? what is the fun in that? I mean, there is no fun. There's no glory in that. And I would ask this swimmer saying, okay, I understand that you now relate yourself as a woman, but what's the fun? Are you really proud of getting these records? Do you really feel like you did that? I would really ask that person. And if so, then there's really a problem.
Yeah.
I do. So Money Mike, I think you were right on. Apparently you're in bounds. With your most questionable,
most controversial.
I'm trying to keep it right.
Is Money Mike?
I see Ivan in here. Ivan, do you have an opinion?
Ivan, you got anything to say over here from Clubhouse? If not, we're gonna call it a show. There we go. Go ahead.
I might say y'all are in bounds, man. Like, I don't get that whole scenario. I mean, it's pretty unfair in my opinion. Like, if I had a daughter, I'm like, damn, like, they're really letting them do this. But yeah, I think you guys are inbound. It's crazy.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. Appreciate it, John. 100%.
All right. That's perfect.
And look, again, no shade, to the community. Don't have an issue or problem. I'm just, this is just an opinion that I have on this individual.
And to be honest with you, let's be honest. I mean, for us to bring this out and give our opinions, we have to also be receptive of their opinion. And if anyone out there that have a better, has a differing opinion that can educate, please feel free. We're open-minded to that. So it's not about we're, closed-minded and this is what we think and this is how it is. It's like, if anybody has any differing opinions, please bring it to us. We'll talk it out. I mean, that's what we should be doing anyway when it comes to this subject. We should have a healthy dialogue in the first place.
Absolutely.
And please direct those to Money Mike at the profanity.
Right.
I'm good with it.
Actually, you guys, this was a great show. Thank you guys so much. Let's wind this down. Thank you for Marco. Thank you for Daniel Artest for sending in your comments and watching. We love you. We appreciate it. Definitely go out there and go look for the Daniel Artest podcast because it's awesome. I think is it 265 Media?
Yeah,
265 Media. What's up, buddy? We'll give you a shout out. We love it. We will be back here next Sunday at 8:30 p.m.
I think she's back.
We will be here sharp. We have Andrea back in the house, and she's gonna bring it to you hot. She's going to rip some players apart. She's going to break down the Lakers. She's going to tell us the truth. She's going to tell you the truth on what we need to hear, not what we want to hear.
Right.
And Money Mike is looking forward to
it. I'm
excited. So we can't wait to have her back. Thank you, Andrea. We can't wait for that. Everybody else, thank you so much. I'd like to thank Theo, our cameraman. I'd like to thank Duan, our producer over here. Without you guys, we couldn't do it. We'll be back next week, 8:30 p.m. sharp. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.
Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town. Yeah,
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.